What's up? Mark here from WayCoolNews.net, back again to deliver you another very exciting toy review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Select Avengers movie version of the Hulk by Diamond Select Toys. On the front of the packaging, below the cooperative product logo of Marvel Select, the left side features powerful poses of some of the biggest hard hitters from Marvel's The Avengers movie, seen as Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. Reaching up from below that is the title logo from the Avengers, as well as Hulk's name. Still on the front, just to the right, is a large, tightly clenched Hulk fist with what appears to be a view of the city seen through the technologically advanced eyes of Iron Man's suit. Hulk comes housed inside a clear blister bubble in a very straightforward pose. The packaging window is not overtaken by the graphic art and still gives us a clear view of this massive figure. The left side of the package features a very cool charcoal-like image of an angry Hulk with partially clenched teeth. The back of the packaging once again features the Marvel Avengers movie logo in the top left corner, with Hulk's name just below that. There is also a written bio explaining the origins of Hulk, detailing Bruce Banner's fateful scientific mishap that introduced him to a dose of gamma radiation that triggers the uncontrollable transformation into the Hulk. It also entails Banner's run from the US military and how he eventually gains the ability to control his emotions by avoiding stressful situations, as well as his recruitment to the Avenger Initiative. The right side of the back shows us a larger image of our Hulk figure showing off the noteworthy articulation in the diaphragm and a fierce Hulk smash pose. Also advertised in two smaller images are movie versions of Hawkeye and a Chitauri foot soldier. The Hulk's transformation from film to plastic has been a very successful one. Capturing the likeness of a digitally transformed Mark Ruffalo, this figure's facial expression is a perfectly recreated composition of rage, with a toothy grimace and a slight underbite, along with eyes deeply inset amongst the scrunched bridge of his nose and wrinkling around the eyes. Hulk's furrowed brow line looks thick and almost Neanderthal, while the painted eyebrows are arched aggressively. The deep indentations of the wrinkling around the mouth really help accentuate the curled lip snarl of the Hulk. Hulk's lips are painted a dark green. It really complements the lighter green skin tone quite well and helps add depth in the mouth. I'm going to go ahead and say that the same green color is used through this entire figure for the skin tone, with the addition of some areas that use a heavy or light amount of shading. Personally, I think the skin tone for this figure is a little darker than seen in the movie, but we'll get into that later. Some of the areas that utilize shading excel, while at other times it can come off as random or even odd looking. For instance, there is a touch of dark shading in the corner of Hulk's right eye. It might have not appeared so random if it hadn't been for the fact that there's barely any at all near the other eye. By itself, it looks a tad awkward and comes off looking like runny mascara. Marvel Select has used this heavy shading technique before on another green Hulk figure, but it was used more consistently across the entire body. Now, I do think that darker shading can be cool, but in order to make it work, the application has to be more consistent. One area that didn't require any shading at all, the hair, utilizes one dark black color. The texture and sculpt of the hair look great. Somewhat spiky and messy, it definitely does a good job of replicating Hulk's hair from the film. Hulk's body is composed of a combination of muscle and veins. It really does look cool. At first glance, the muscular definition looks amazing, but truthfully, I don't remember Hulk being this muscular in the movie. I'm not talking about size or mass, I'm talking about muscle tone. Now, some of you may disagree with me. However, as cool as he looks being this ripped, I don't recall Hulk having such a perfect six-pack. I hate to say it, but I think this figure would be closer to Hulk as we saw him in the movie if he wasn't as toned. On the upside, even though it might not perfectly resemble movie Hulk, you can't deny the quality of the sculpt work. The striations of muscle in the chest, abdominals, arms, forearms, and the back indeed look great. So although it may not completely be accurate, I can still appreciate how awesome the sculpt work looks. Hulk's hands come sculpted into fists, which is pretty common for Marvel Select figures, and since it's the Hulk, if it has to be sculpted, fists are definitely the only way to go. The green skin tone of the body looks a little bit too dark in my opinion. Hulk was lighter in the movie, but it is hard to hold Diamond Select Toys accountable when they create these figures with a small amount of footage as a reference. One area that the paintwork in the body excels is in the lighter shading. It does a great job at subtly highlighting the muscular definition throughout the body. Some easily visible successes of utilizing this lighter shading are in the chest, abs, and upper back. The Hulk comes wearing the dark pair of almost purple pants that he is seen wearing during the final battle scene from the Avengers movie. There is a brushed look of shading throughout the pants, helping emphasize the wrinkling. The sculpt work in the pants doesn't have much detail, and leaves me wanting a bit more. It feels odd to say, but I believe the sculpt work and detailing of the upper body far outshine the work in the pants.
Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation now. Starting with the head does operate on a ball joint, but there's a minor hindrance here between the head and the neck muscle here. So it can go about yay far in either direction before the two kind of collide. Now I can do a downward motion look, so you can go about yay far. Upward is more just straight on. He can do a left to right tilt. Now at the shoulder here, we can do an outward motion. It goes about yay far before you start feeling some resistance here. At the bicep, we can do a swivel to about right here before the top of the bicep starts hitting the shoulder here. Now at the elbow, we get a single joint, so we can do back and forth. The wrist, we can do a full swivel, no bends. Now at the diaphragm here, it's not an ab crunch, it is just a swivel, so you can go about here to here. Now there's no swivel at the waist. At the top of the leg here, we get a back and forth. And an outward motion that goes parallel to the floor about. At this thigh cut here, we get a swivel all the way around. The knee offers a single joint, so you can do back and forth, real stiff joints. The ankle offers a bend back and forth, not much, but definitely makes up for it here with this ankle rocker, so you can pivot back and forth real well. So I would have liked to seen a swivel in the waist, but other than that, very good articulation for such a large scale figure. Very easy to pose and to set up and keep in a pose without having to worry about it falling over as well.
Given the reputation for Marvel Select figures, I certainly know that they are capable of producing better, and so I expect just a touch more of detail. The sculpting of the torn edges in the pants looks a bit lazy. If you don't agree with this, stop and ask yourself, does this look like a normal man mutated into a monstrous Hulk while still wearing the same pair of pants? The sculpt work in the legs and feet remain consistent, imposing the same great muscular definition and veins we saw from the upper body. It also utilizes a touch of dark and light shading and works well on both accounts here. The dark shading doesn't seem to be overblown or unbalanced here. Instead, the dark shading in the legs offer an example of how it can work. Hulk's toes are painted using the same color as the dark shading. In a size comparison, our Avengers movie line Hulk sits at a height just under 10 inches tall, which is just a bit taller than another previously released Marvel Select Hulk. Here's another size comparison with the Marvel Legends Gray first appearance of Hulk figure, which sits just about 2 inches shorter. Overall, this figure has a few areas for improvement, but quite honestly, the sheer size and look of this figure completely overpower any and all of its weaknesses. It is definitely a unique piece and one I'm glad to own. If you love the Avengers movie, which I'm sure you did, then you'll absolutely love and enjoy this figure. It is easily worth its monetary value. For more great toy reviews, be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you would like to see us review a certain figure, you can let us know by sending us a message. For WayCoolNews.net, I'm Mark, and this has been another Way Cool Review.